Hey y'all, welcome to another video. Today we are going to do a kind of fun, kind of controversial one, hopefully everybody likes it because I love hearing everybody's hot takes. So that brings me to today's video. I'm going to be going through some of the very famous, very viral book talk books that I have been seeing for the past year, maybe a little over a year, maybe some books that I've turned into series, and I'm going to give you my hot takes. That being said, these are all hot takes, so these are my ones that I probably won't recommend to other people or may recommend to other people depending on their likes and dislikes. Not all of these are horrible ratings. A 3 stars is still a good rating. It's just something that means it would be very niche for the person I recommend it to and something that I wouldn't take the time to reread again. So let's get into it. First up, we have the Dream Harbor series. These books are adorable to look at. This so far includes the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is what started it all. I think, what was that, fall 2024 or fall 2023, something like that. Whenever the fall vibes come, this is the epitome of it. It looks like it on the outside. So does the second one, which is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which adorable. Again, all these covers so fun, so cute, so festive. The books, not so much, unfortunately. I haven't even read The Christmas Tree Farm. I got it to read at Christmas time, and I was too invested in the Zodiac Academy series to even go there. So we never got around to the third one, and honestly, it's just cute. So I'm not mad about it. I can't for sure say that I'm even going to get around to it, but it's adorable to look at on my shelf. I mean, come on, it's like a little village over there. Adorable, but the covers are very deceiving in these. They're adorable to have on your shelf, not so much fun to read, in my opinion. The books look like they're very innocent, very cute and cozy, but I don't really get cute and cozy vibes. They don't really even take place in the fall, the first two. There's like little snippets of the fall in there, but not really fall reads in the actual plot line of the book. It just looks like it on the outside, and that's about it. It's going to give you more Gilmore Girl. Can I talk? You think it's going to give you Gilmore Girl vibes. Wow. Stars Hollow, that's the vibes you want. I don't get those vibes at all. Maybe a little bit the Stars Hollow with like small town. That's about it. It's much spicier than I thought it would be, and by the looks of the covers, again, it looks like it's going to be fun, cutesy. Not so cutesy. In fact, it's a lot of the time very lustful, and I found myself skimming through the majority of these pages, and I did not like it, did not like the romance, felt like there wasn't a ton of buildup emotionally to those romance relationships that were going on. So yeah, the whole series, I think I would stick it, well, whole series, first two. Pumpkin Spice Cafe and Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, I think I gave them both 2 stars or 2.5, which honestly, again, at that point, half stars are stupid. I may have rounded up to one of them. I think the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore I did give 3 stars to. Pumpkin Spice Cafe I gave 2 stars to. I liked the second one slightly better than the first one. Still wouldn't recommend either of them. That's my hot take on it. You can take it or leave it, but so far I don't think that's a very controversial one from what I'm seeing. I would not recommend these books other than to add to the character of your bookshelf behind you. All right, for this next one, just let me say again, this is my personal opinion, and I do know this is a controversial one, so I'm not the only one with this opinion, but I know there are many out there with the opposite opinion. The whole Magnolia Parks universe. This is one I don't really recommend to people, to be honest. It's a whole entire 3-star series for me. I will say I did give the final Into the Dark Magnolia Parks one 5 stars. That book was phenomenal. I will give credit where credit is due. The others fall flat for me. With Magnolia and BJ. I root for them, I do, but I get so irritated, so frustrated with them with the whole miscommunication, BJ cheating on them, cheating in the relationship, no matter what the cause was. Again, Into the Dark really ties it all together and puts everything into perspective for you, which I feel like is where I, even as the reader, personally started to forgive him. But again, he cheated, and I just don't feel like there is ever an excuse for cheating in any way, sense, or shape. Like, there just isn't. And I don't know. Maybe I'm one of those people, but I am, unfortunately. And I definitely know there's a lot of hype behind the couple. When they finally do work out at certain parts of the series, I love it. I love them together. And then, you know, one thing happens and another thing happens. I'm like, can y'all just not, like, can you just not? I don't know. I do think the high society Gossip Girl factors in it with how Magnolia dresses. She's Miss Fashionista, all of the name dropping for all of the big brands and stuff. I thought that was a lot of fun. So I do enjoy reading about that. I am more of a Daisy hates girl. I like Daisy a little bit more, and I love her brother. What can I say? She gives me Wattpad vibes, if you catch my drift over there. If you were one of the Wattpad girlies, I love Julian Hates. I do. I'm one of them. Thought someone was trying to get into my apartment for a second. But yeah, Daisy Hates, so far I like those ones better. I have no clue when another Daisy Hates book is going to come out. I know BJ and Magnolia are wrapped up now after the Into the Dark book came out, but I know Daisy is still going on, so not sure what's going on there. I want more Julian. Daisy's great and all. I love Julian. I want to hear more about Julian. I want to know who he ends up with. I need more of him. I need those Wattpad days. I need the nostalgia of the Wattpad days. That's really what I'm looking for. Whole series for me is overall about a 3 stars. Again, Into the Dark was the only 5-star out of this whole book, out of this whole series, not book. I think all of them I gave 3 stars or maybe a 3.5 stars thrown in there. So overall, I would say series is a 3 stars for me. It would be a very niche person that I would recommend this to. I rarely recommend this series to anyone, but will I probably continue it? Absolutely, because I need to know more about Julian. I'm also nosy. I said it in the other ones. I'm nosy. I have FOMO. I gotta know. It's a popular series. Whether I like it or don't, I have to know why others do like it and what my perspective is going to be on it. So I will probably continue it whenever more books come out. Plus, I do think I will give credit where credit is due again. Jessa Hastings is a beautiful, beautiful author. Everything she writes, she has this very lyrical sense of writing to her books, and I think they have a lot of depth to them. I'll put it that way. I love the depth that she puts and the emotion that she puts into the stories, and there really is a lot more than what's on the forefront of them. So I do love her writing, which is why I think I will also continue reading her books, because I just enjoy reading them in general without factoring in all the characters. It's the characters themselves, I think, that I have problems with. Yeah. That's where we fall flat for me. I can't really connect to really any of the characters, and they just kind of enrage me a lot of the time. Plus, high society is way over my head. However, it's exactly how I felt when watching Gossip Girl. And Gossip Girl is another one of those where I'm like, everybody loves it. Did I binge it all? Absolutely. Is it like a top tier show for me? No. No, it's not. So that's my hot take on that one. It's just an average series to me. Again, 3 stars is still good. That means I did not hate it. I did not love it. I just liked it. It's just average to me. It's not something that I really would recommend if somebody is new to reading or somebody who even is into reading, unless it's something that I think is going to be right up their alley. Just not something I'm going to recommend. Okay, the next one I don't have the physical copy of. I will never own the physical copy of it because I'll be honest, I never got past the first book. You can love me, you can hate me for it. Before I say this, again, it is my personal opinion. It's the Addicted series. I read the very first book, Addicted to You, hate it. Actually, technically would be a DNF. It should have been a DNF. I skimmed through probably 50% of the book, hated the plot, hated the characters, hated the storyline. There was nothing that I enjoyed about it, to be quite honest with you, and I did give it a 1-star rating on Goodreads. I hate to be that person. I rarely will be that person, but I was in this case. Again, we win some, we lose some. That is a series I have no interest in knowing about it. I know there's a lot of fan base behind it, but first book ruined it for me. No interest in the characters, hate the plot, hate the meaning behind all of it. That's my hot take on it. You can agree, you can not agree, but it was quite horrible in my opinion, and the characters were quite horrible in my opinion. So no interest there. I don't know. I do know there is, I don't know if it's technically a spinoff series to it or if it's all lumped into Addicted, but I would follow the main character's sister. I would follow that story maybe. So I could potentially go back into those and just skip all of the others. I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth it, to be quite honest with you. That is when I quite literally, no matter who it is, will never recommend it to somebody. I will never recommend it to somebody. If you get a 1-star rating, nope, not being recommended. Never, ever. It won't be on my bookshelf, and that's just me. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal view. So let's move on to the next one. All right, I recently just finished this series, and I only own the first book because I said in the video as well, I did a reading vlog for it, that I am waiting for the rest of them to come out in this nice matte covering. But the Zodiac Academy series, this is so popular, and I definitely see why it's popular. I am glad that I read at least the main portion of the series, because there is so much found friendship, found family in here that I do really enjoy all of that aspect of it. The series itself, I just don't feel like is very there it goes again, the English guys. The series itself, I don't feel like is very well thought out. That's my problem with it. The books are thick, boys. They get thicker. This one's dense, but no, they get thicker and thicker as it goes on, unfortunately. I mean, like over 900 pages over there. So it's a commitment. And I did have fun reading about Darcy and Orion. Absolutely head over heels for them. However, I think there are too many POVs when we get into the later books. I don't connect at all with Tori Vega. She actually really irks me in a lot of the sections of it. I do love their sistership, I'm going to call it, their twinship that they got going on. I love her and Darius together, but they enraged me in the beginning. And it's just frustrating, to say the least. I'll put it that way. Like, I don't know. The series could have been a lot shorter, in my opinion. I think there was a lot of fluff thrown in there. There was some unnecessary spice that was thrown in there. And that's just my personal opinion. It would be a very, very niche person that I would recommend this to. I do think it'd be a great TV show adaptation eventually at some point. It could not be a movie. There's just too much to go into it for it to be a movie. The characters develop a lot throughout it. And I think as seasons, if you did a season for each book, it could be really, really good as a TV show. Would I recommend it to anyone? Very niche. It's an average, probably 3 stars. If I'm being very generous, I could say 3.5 stars because there were moments that I really, really did enjoy reading them and then moments that I just was ready to be done with it. And that could be my fault for reading it back to back, but that's just how I am. I like to be immersed in the universe, and when I'm in the universe, I want to knock it all out while I have everything in my head and I don't forget any details. So maybe that was my fault. I don't know, because it is quite a long series, but again, just an average one for me. That may be a hot take, it may not. I feel like I see both sides of it on TikTok. And again, I didn't hate it. I just didn't really love it. I just kind of liked it, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, the next one I don't own either, but it is the Rebel Blue Ranch series, I believe is what it's called. I adore the covers of this one. The covers, gorgeous, perfect, amazing, chef's kiss. Love the covers. I can't wait to add them to my bookshelf eventually. They are short reads, which I love. Audiobooks are pretty decent. I think I read, I went back and forth on the first 2 on audiobook, and then the third one I actually just read on audiobook just because I got it on Libby. It was available and I needed a book while I was driving, so there it was. Otherwise, I'm going to be honest, I probably wouldn't have even read it. They are quite spicy. There is not a lot of emotional depth, in my opinion, to the characters. And again, if you can't tell, the common theme here is I need to feel connected to the characters. If there's no emotion there, if there's no emotional intelligence, I should say, then it's going to fall flat for me every time. Like, I need to feel connected to the relationship building. I need to see the relationship build and how it snowballs. And I actually, when I first started the last one, the third book that just came out, Lost and Lassoed, I believe it's called, I started out really liking it. That one's definitely still my favorite out of all 3 of them, for sure. But I had high hopes for it until we hit like the 50% mark. And then it just was like, I don't know about this one. And the conflict at the end, again, I just thought was stupid because all you had to do was open your mouth, and they just didn't. Like, it's not, I don't think I'd even consider it miscommunication. It's just like, you just didn't, is the best way, is the best way to say it. I don't really know how else to describe it to you. But yeah, that whole series, probably about 2 stars. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody, probably. Maybe 1 or 2 people here and there, just depending on what they tell me they like. That's a very popular one that I just don't really understand why it's very popular, other than the fact that the covers are gorgeous. That's about it. On the list, and I have to say I'm a little bit of a hater of this trope. I think it can be done well, but very rarely is it ever done well. Therefore, this one was not done well in my opinion. But it is Ready or Not by Cara Baston. I hope I said that right. Yep. I think this was like a 2 stars. I actually did really like the male main character in this one. The female main character didn't love as much, and the whole storyline was just odd to me. I don't love the pregnancy trope really ever, and it was just a very weird case scenario to me. Something where I think I personally just can't really connect to the scenario in general, and so I feel like that makes it really hard for me to even like the trope. So that's kind of the first place that goes wrong. I went into it blind, so I didn't realize it was a pregnancy trope. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have prioritized reading it. It does look gorgeous on my shelf. Again, we love that. We love the reward. We love it to look pretty and beautiful behind us. But yeah, even we didn't connect there. That's really all I have to say about that one. Now, Shep, love Shep. Cutie pie, he's adorable, and boy really got it bad in this book because if I were him, nah, I don't know that I would have kept coming back like he did. He's got those golden retriever vibes, that's for sure. But fell flat for me. 2 stars. I may recommend it to somebody. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I would ever recommend it to somebody. I can't think of a single person that I would recommend it to, unless you came up to me and said, "I love the pregnancy trope." There you go, silver platter right here. But yeah, pregnancy just in general, not for me. I feel like it automatically a lot of the times knocks it down a star. I don't own this entire series, but I do own my favorite one of it, which is the most recent one, and that's Daydream. It's a part of the Maple Hills series, which is, if you know the infamous Icebreaker, don't recommend that to anyone. The Maple Hills series as a whole, very niche person I would recommend it to. I would say order of favorites, I loved Daydream. I really like this one. If you're somebody who hates miscommunication, this one has none of it in there. They are the best communicators I've ever seen in my life. And I ate up every second of it, probably because of that. I really loved that. I loved the characters developing together. It was very sweet. And this one by far was my favorite. I think I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I believe Icebreaker was 2 stars for me. I did not enjoy that one at all, really. But again, I don't really feel like there was a ton of miscommunication in that one either. And then the second one, I believe that's Wildfire. I was just indifferent to it. I probably liked it a little bit better than Icebreaker, so I'd say 3 stars. So 2, 3, 4. So on average, I guess the whole series is like 3-ish. But I probably wouldn't really recommend the first 2 books to anybody. I would just say skip those and go straight to this one because I don't really think they're worth the time, in my personal opinion. Just not huge on them. That's really all I have to say about it. I don't think the series is anything super, super special except for this one. I did really enjoy this one. The other ones just really nothing for me. I had no connection to them. There was a lot of spice, obviously, with Icebreaker, and found myself skimming. So if I'm skimming and not in eating up every single word, honestly, I need to tell myself to DNF it. But what did we say before? I'm not good at DNFing. What do I have to say? I have nothing to say at this point. It's my own fault. I put myself through it. I spent the time. I wasted the time, I guess. But here I am to give you a review on it. So I guess I got something out of reading it. All right, this one's going to hurt some people, but the whole Chestnut Springs series. I know, don't hate me, but I will say the Chestnut Springs series. Rose Hill, different story. Wild Love and Wild Eyes, I ate those ones up. These ones, not so much. Yeah. I guess I would give it 3 stars. It's again an average one. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, just kind of liked it. That's the best way to describe this one again. I'm using the same words, but I have the same feelings. Very spicy series, so I already just don't love that. And I need to see an emotional connection. And I don't feel like some of these had emotional connections, just lustful ones, which I'm not big on. And the last one, especially Hopeless, was yikes. I don't even know what happened with that book. Like the other ones had some substance to them, which I appreciated. This one just did not. Also, the fact that they take place in Canada and they're cowboys really throws me off. Because when I think cowboy, I don't. Western is what I'm thinking, or even Southern. You can be either of those. Canadian, never put 2 and 2 together that they'd even have cowboys up there, which again, blonde moment probably for me. That's probably common sense that they have cowboys anywhere that would be like a ranch or farm or anything like that, but didn't connect the dots there. So when I read these, I was really expecting something like Wyoming, like out west or down south, something like that, a good Southern guy. Nope, Canadian. Yeah, that one threw me for a loop there. Average books, depending on which one you read, I may recommend it, may not. I just don't know. I don't really connect to these characters a lot. I think the idea of them was fun, just the execution of them didn't fall into my taste. I won't say it was done poorly. It just didn't align with what I usually look for in a book or what I usually like in a book. So that's really all I have to say about it. Again, it wasn't horrible. I would still recommend it to the right person. It just isn't my favorite, and I wouldn't recommend it top of mind to somebody. It would take a niche person for me to recommend it out of the back. especially because it's a longer series. 5 books is a little bit longer. They are interconnected standalone, so that makes a difference. Obviously, you don't have to read them in order if you don't want to. You don't have to read all of them if you don't want to. It's not going to leave you on a cliffhanger. So there is that. That's always a bonus there. I do have a bonus series. I was going to call it quits after that one, but I have one more, and I'm not going to attempt to pull them out of here. But it is the Plated Prisoner series, I think is what it's called. I'll put pictures of them up here. I think it's the Plated Prisoner. No, don't waste your time. This is one that I didn't even realize was a Booktok series. I literally found it, I think, on my Pinterest. I was scrolling on Pinterest and it popped up and I was like, ooh, looks like I could like it. And so why not try it? They're long, thick books, and I trudged through 3 of them, and not worth it. Not worth the time, not worth the effort. Did not like it at all. Don't care for the main character. Don't care for any of the characters, to be quite honest with you. Once the romance kind of started building up a little bit, I was like, ooh, maybe. Nope. Nope. Don't waste your time. Too thick, too long, too boring, too nothing, to be quite honest with you. And that's a harsh take, but it's my take. And I think I gave the whole 3 books I read 1.5, maybe 2 stars if I have to put a rating to it. But honestly, I would just leave it unrated if I had the option to. So yeah, that's that one. I won't be finishing it. Maybe I'll get the last book to add it to my bookshelf and just complete the series. Maybe I'll unhaul them eventually. But I don't know. They're thick books, so I want the trophies to show that I read them. So maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just keep them. But would I recommend them? Absolutely not. And that is a wrap on today's hot take video. If you have any hot takes, I would love to hear them. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you have any differing views on the books I just discussed, I will learn English by the next time I come back on this camera. Promise, guys. But if you have any differing views or opinions, I would love to hear them. Comment down below. Again, it's so fun to talk about differing opinions on books, what people look for in books that are different from my taste, because we all have different tastes and we all like different things. So please like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't follow me on any other social media accounts, I have TikTok, Instagram. I do have a Bookstagram as well. So I'll attach those at the end of this video. But until next time, bye y'all.